Quick question for you. What marks the ends of path segments? You remember? Is it endpoints, anchor points, points per inch, or anchor pixels? It is anchor points. All right, we're now going to draw some curves. On curve segments, selecting an anchor point displays one or two direction lines, depending on the shapes of adjacent segments. You adjust the shape of a curve segment by dragging the direction point at the end of a direction line, and the direction line shapes the curve. You're going to create curve lines using smooth points. So we're going to do this semicircle first. So click A and release the mouse, and that starts your first I didn't press return up here. If you did like me and didn't press return, it tried to draw a line from there to there. So on the last video, I forgot to say press return, and I didn't press return. So click A, and there's our new starting point. You see over here we now have shape 2 and shape 2 path. And then click point B, but do not release the mouse button. Instead, drag to the open red circle that's right up here, and you see that and then release the mouse button. And you see by doing that, you now have a curved line. The red circles indicate where you should stop dragging an anchor point's direction point to form the desired shape of the circle. If you drag the direction point to a different location, the curve is going to have a different shape. So smooth anchor points have two linked direction lines. When you move one, the curve segments on both sides of the path adjust simultaneously. So we're going to position the pointer over point C, and then drag down, hold it and drag down to point D and let it go. And then we're going to click on point D and press return. And look at there. So by doing that, we just drew a little curved segment. Now we're going to use the same techniques, and we're going to draw an S-shaped curve. But let me tell you, when you draw your own paths, it's best to use as few points as possible to create the shape you want. The fewer points you use, the smoother the curves are, and the easier it's going to be to edit it later. The advantage of drawing paths using points and handles instead of drawing directly as with a real pen or pencil, for most people it's difficult to draw curves and straight lines without bumps or other areas. Points and handles let you draw perfect curves and straight lines. If you prefer to draw normally, you could use the freeform pen tool, but we're going to not do that right now because we're learning things. So to use the same techniques, we're going to draw an S-shaped curve. So click point A. Let the mouse go up here, click but don't release. Drag it over to this, let it go. Click C, drag to this, let it go. Click D, drag to here, let it go. Click E, drag to here, let it go. Click F, drag to here, let it go. G, press enter. Look at there. Now, if yours is not perfectly in this thing, don't worry about it. We're learning the concepts of what we're doing. So you see that each of these shapes has its own layer in the layer panel. Only one path is in the paths panel. If I were to click on shape 2, you see there's the path right there. Shape 1, there's your path right there. Notice the curves you drew with the pen tool are much smoother and easier to precisely control than if you had drawn them freehand. On curved segments, selecting an anchor point displays how many direction lines. The correct answer will be 1 or 2. Now that you've got the idea, we'll have a chance to draw a more complex object. So go up here and we're going to click A. That's going to set the right side of the first anchor point. Now we're going to press the shift key as we click point B. By pressing the shift key, it contains the line to 45-degree angles, which in this case ensures you'll get a horizontal line. So I'm holding down my shift key, I'm clicking B. And then I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click C. Hold down the Shift key, click D. Hold down the Shift key, click E. If you notice that you slightly missed the red dot on the template while dragging a curve point, you can reposition the point without starting over. If you keep the mouse button down, hold down the space bar and drag until the point is in the right place. Then release the space bar to continue dragging the direction lines of that anchor point. All right, so we're going to click. We're going to click F and hold down the mouse and go up to here. We're going to click G, go to this circle, click here, click this point, and that creates a corner point. When you move a direction line on a corner point, only the curve on the same side of the point as the direction line is adjusted, so you can create a sharp transition between two segments. Go back and click point A. That draws the final path segment and closes the path. Closing a path automatically ends the drawing. If you click or drag the pen tool, it will create a new path. After you close the path, you don't need to press enter or return unless you want to deselect it. So everything's still selected, it's closed, but I press enter and that deselected it. So you've now successfully used the pen tool to draw both curves and straight lines. So let's click File, and then Save, and you will submit this to me for a grade.